degree hot rice noodles. Women can eat in 10 seconds. Just see her blow the fairy breath, put it in her mouth and tasted it. She was amazed. Then she ate it by the spoonful. The boss lady was stunned. Then she put down the spoon, picked up the chopsticks, and started to make rice mode. The taste of Yunnan rice noodles is really good. The diners next to the restaurant were stunned. In less than 10 seconds, the hot rice noodles were finished. Anne set another bowl, scared the boss a shiver, fell to the ground and died of fragrance. But why is she not afraid of the heat? It turns out that last night to the inventory of goods in the warehouse, the administrator saw no one in the room, so the door was locked. When she found it, no matter how to knock on the door, couldn't open it. But when she called for help, the staff on duty was talking, did not hear the sound. It was already 30 degrees below zero in the house, and the woman was only wearing a thin undershirt. She was screaming for help. She could only cower in the cardboard box. This is not enough. With a plastic sheet, but the cold wind was still blowing down. She had to light a lighter, using the weak heat to keep warm. Soon after, her eyes grew dull. She slowly fell down, as she was dying of consciousness. Someone came in. When she opened her eyes again, she was in a hospital bed, but when she touched the armrests on the side of the bed, her eyes were filled with wonder. It was a hot summer day. She sat on the bench, was shivering from the cold. Her husband bought her a cup of hot milk tea. She took a sip. She thought it wasn't hot enough, but opened the lid and saw it was still steaming hot. When her son ran over to her, she felt that her son's hands were so cold. At once a bad feeling arose in her heart. A woman is not careful. A woman accidentally pressed her hand on the pan. There was a smell of meat. She lifted her hand and took a closer look and was suddenly ignorant. There was only a little oil on her hand. There was no sign of burns at all. The doctor said it was the brain hypnotizing itself. It's like someone seeing a red-hot iron, and then covers his eyes, touching his skin with a normal iron, would be covered with a plastic sheet, but the like someone seeing a red-hot iron, and then covers his eyes, touching his skin with a normal iron, would be instantly burned, to free the brain from cold storage thinking. But she couldn't control herself. It was 50 degrees in the summer, wearing a cashmere coat and shivering in the cold. When washing clothes, wearing gloves and rubbing her hands constantly. It's even more amazing when making breakfast. The whole 5 hours of work, but she didn't even finish cutting the cucumber. Her problem is getting worse and worse. Others wear short sleeves. She wore a mink coat. The return rate is 500%. Even if she wears more, she still feels cold. When selling goods in the mall, she is shivering from the cold. Seeing the 105-degree boiling water in the pot, she slowly stretched out her tender little hand. Without hesitation, she reached into the pot, but even so, he still felt very cold. The customer next to her looked curious, and her hand was fine, just a little red glow. She had to go to the office to take a break. Colleague kindly brought a cup of hot coffee. She just took a sip and threw it on the table. A quick glance, the coffee turned into ice cubes, and was shivering with cold. He quickly ran home. The house set up 4 small sun. The air conditioner was on the highest setting, and wrapped in 3 blankets. But even so, she still felt cold, even afraid to go out of the house. So the idea of lightheartedness is not afraid of the heat. The 105-degree rice noodles were eaten non-stop. Even finished the soup in one gulp. Pressed her hand on the 800-degree iron pot. Only a little red. Other people still feel hot when they go out in short sleeves, but she wore a mink coat, still shivering in the cold. 4 small sons at home, wrapped in 5 quilts, still feel cold. Looking at the photo of her family, she shed tears of sadness, but the tears instantly turned into ice. Suddenly she felt that the world had abandoned her, so she went to the roof of the building. Standing on the edge of the building, she was just about to jump off. Suddenly she saw the building in the distance was on fire. She rushed to run over. The fire was getting bigger and bigger. She thought she was going to die anyway. She thought she might as well do something meaningful. So she went into the building, pushed open the door of the room. Inside, the fire was fierce. There was a shivering child on the bed. She rushed over to him, but the next moment, the fire came. She rushed to hold the child, although the down jacket was burned, but she did not hurt at all. Picked up the child, ran out. Then she got down on the ground. The fireman gave her a salute. The mother was very grateful to her. There was a huge round of applause. It felt good to be needed. She found the meaning of life. From then on, she became a brave firefighter, and she was always at the front of the line. She became the hero of her son's heart. The scene changed. Several people break into the cold storage room. They saw a woman frozen in ice. So what just happened was all a vision of her before she died. Little girl